Japan boasts some powerful and clever animals who blur the line between gods, yokai, and simply mischievous creatures. Some bring good fortunes, others cause chaos, and a few are just out to mess with people for fun. In this video, we discover a particular kind of those animal spirits that are up to no good: the shape-shifting Bakemono. Bakemono, literally things that change, are a class of yokai with mystical powers of shapeshifters and illusionists who like to change into humans, objects, other monsters, or to change other creatures and objects to different forms. Let's meet 6 of the most renowned Bakemono, and the first is the infamous Kitsune. Kitsune, or foxes, are seen in Japan as intelligent, cunning, and mischievous animals capable of many forms of magic, including shapeshifting, bewitching, possession, disorientation, influence over weather, and then some. Some are benevolent, especially if they are associated with Inari, the kami of rice and fertility. But for the most part, Kitsune are tricksters who enjoy nothing more than to fool naive human beings. Stories concerning Kitsune abound in Japanese folklore, some of them contradictory, but from those stories, here is what we know of this fascinating creature. Foxes acquire their mystical power and the ability to speak once they've reached 100 years of age. At that point, their tail splits in two, and one more tail grows every 100 years until they reach their ultimate and all-powerful form, the kyubi, or 9-tailed fox. From the moment they gain powers, foxes seem interested in one thing above all: using them to cause problems for humans. Among their favorite pranks, we find the classic leading travelers astray, sometimes to their doom, changing leaves to paper money, or offering dumplings filled with horse manure. But one tale concerning the Kitsune is so common that it became something of a classic: the fox wife. While Kitsune can shapeshift into many forms, they seem to favor that of a beautiful woman, a shape they use regularly to seduce gullible men and use them one way or another. Their power, however, tends to weaken once they've consumed sake, and it is not rare then to notice a couple of tails, some fangs, or pointy ears where there should be none. It has to be said, though, that not all fox seductresses harbor ill intentions. Some become devoted wives to their victims, remain married for life, and even have children with their human husbands. Such was the case of a kitsune named Kuzunoha, a white fox saved from a hunter by a young nobleman of the Abe clan. To repay his kindness, and because he was wounded while freeing her, she appeared to him in human form, treated his wounds, and the two fell in love. Their child, Abe no Seimei, would grow to become the most famous onmyoji in history, owing his prodigious magical power to his fox ancestry. This positive tale of a relationship between a man and a fox spirit is, however, a footnote in a long list of others, more negative interactions of the kind. And, as we will see in a future video, Kitsune can be downright evil and powerful enough to bring the end of entire empires, as was the case with Tamamo no Mae, a kitsune whose deeds earned her a place as one of the Nihon Saidai Haku yokai, the 3 most evil yokai of Japan. If kitsune are the cunning tricksters of Japanese folklore, then tanuki are the chaotic pranksters, thriving on harmless mischief rather than possibly lethal behavior. They are expert shapeshifters, just like kitsune, but whereas foxes often aim for elegance and deception, tanuki prefer pranks and playful illusions. Their rivalry with kitsune is a question of pride for tanuki, and as far as shapeshifting is concerned, they are the best of the 2 species, for tanuki can change into 8 forms above kitsune, who can master up to 7 transformations. And while kitsune favor disguises as beautiful women, tanuki are more likely to turn into monks, travelers, or even inanimate objects, often just to cause confusion, trick people out of their money, or enjoy the pleasures offered by the human world, such as wedding banquets and brothels. But perhaps the most infamous part of a tanuki mythology is their huge testicles, which are often depicted as magical tools for shapeshifting. This image originates from the renowned Edo period goldsmith of Kanazawa, who used tanuki's pelts to wrap around gold nuggets and hammer them into gold leaves. The scrotum of tanuki was supposedly the best part of the animal for such a task, as it was incredibly flexible. This practice led to the belief that tanuki had magical, expendable testicles. This then evolved into legends where tanuki used their enormous scrotums as drums, boats, parachutes, weapons, or even disguises. One well-known tanuki story tells of Shukaku, a tanuki who transformed into a monk and served as the head priest of Morinji in Gunma Prefecture for years without being discovered. Shukaku owned a magic tea kettle that was said to never dry out, no matter how many scoops of water the monks pull from it. In another version of the story, Shukaku is not the priest, but the tea kettle itself, and would sometimes half transform back to its tanuki form when placed upon the earth. Nowadays, tanuki statues are found outside many Japanese shops and restaurants as symbols of good fortune and prosperity. With their big bellies, wide eyes, and sake bottles, they represent a spirit of abundance and joy, reminding people not to take life too seriously. Bakeneko and Nekomata. Cats, while being pets, are not less savage in their behavior than kitsune or tanuki. On the contrary, cats who lived long enough, from 12 years of age, or grew fat enough, or even were mistreated, could turn into bakeneko. Then, as its tail splits in two and the animal turns even more powerful and dangerous, into a nekomata, a powerful yokai capable of shapeshifting into humans, controlling balls of fire and even raising the dead. Perhaps due to its mysterious nature, the cat, familiar but never truly tamed, has gained an eerie reputation in Japan. And while its presence proved helpful to humans, people also feared them, especially once they spotted signs of a cat evolving into a bakeneko. For example, if it started walking on two legs, spoke human words, or leaked oil from lamps. But for the most part, bakeneko and nekomata acted against humans in revenge for their poor treatment. As long as people raised them with respect, they had nothing to fear from their pets. On the contrary, well-treated cats, even before they turned into yokai, proved beneficial to their owners. Maneki neko are the proof of it. Several legends exist about the origin of those small statues found at the entrance of many shops and homes, but all mention a respectful relationship between a human and a cat. Here is one such tale. In the late 17th century, in the esteemed brothel of Miura Yashiro Zaemon in the Yoshiwara red light district of Edo, lived a famous oiran, or courtesan, named Usugumo. Usugumo was never seen without her beloved tortoise-shell cat. Rumors grew that the cat had, in fact, bewitched Usugumo. One day, while she used the bathroom, the cat grew agitated. Thinking that the cat was attacking Usugumo, the owner of the brothel cut its head on the spot. But, as it landed, the head of the cat then bit a venomous snake that had been hiding in the bathroom, thus saving Usugumo's life, even if itself had already died. Usugumo was overcome with grief until a patron of the brothel carved a cat from a piece of wood for her that was so lifelike that everyone who saw it wanted one, and it soon became a very popular item in Edo. Ogama, the giant toad. When a toad reaches 1,000 years of age, it transforms into a giant toad and gains shape-shifting abilities as well as increased intelligence and strength, a long sticky tongue that can catch pretty much anything, and, more surprisingly, a rainbow-colored breath. They also tend to use a spear from that point, and as they keep growing, Ogama start to regard humans as food. Living deep in the forest and mountains, Ogama are not as often encountered as other Bakemono, but those moments usually do not end well for humans. But once again, not all giant toads turned out to be evil, as we discover in the story of gallant Jiraiya, the toad-riding warrior, whose name might ring a bell to some of you and is the topic of a future video, so make sure to subscribe to this channel not to miss it. Mujina, the badger. The Mujina is an animal so mysterious that even its existence is a source of confusion. Mujina are badgers, but depending on the region of Japan, the word could also mean tanuki and vice versa, and those two species share many traits, starting with their taste for harmless pranks on humans. Two differences set them apart though. Mujina, contrary to tanuki, tend to shy away from humans, and when they do meet one, they use their shape-shifting abilities to scare them away rather than to blend in. And they do so by changing into another yokai, the faceless Noperabo. The shock of such a meeting is enough to spook one away and give a chance for the Mujina to transform back to its animal form and run to safety. Weasels. Last but not least, the weasel. Weasels, or Itachi in Japanese, would be the most talented of all shapeshifters since they can transform into 9 forms, while Kitsune have 7 and Tanuki 8. But just like the badger tend to be confused with the Tanuki, weasels also have been confused with martens, and as such it is difficult to know which of them is capable of what. One thing is believed for sure as far as the Itachi is concerned: it brings ill fortune, and seeing one or even hearing one is a bad omen. And if one Itachi is bad, they are worse in groups. A congregation of Itachi will sometimes form a column by climbing on each other's shoulders, then twirl into a fire-spewing whirlwind. When Itachi reach 100 years of age, they evolve into an even more dangerous being, the Kama Itachi, a yokai wielding wind magic and armed with sickle-like claws. In this form, they inhabit mountainous regions and attack humans in groups of 3. In some regions of Japan, kamaitachi are called kamakaze, sickle wind, or akuzenkaze, evil whirlwind. Pretty cool, right? These 6 legendary shapeshifters showcase the diverse and bizarre nature of Bakemono in Japan. From mischievous pranksters to eerie spirits, they continue to fascinate and haunt Japanese folklore. And, as we will see in the next video, they are not the only animals with magical powers and a tendency to meddle in human affairs. Now let me know which Bakemono you found the most intriguing and which you would rather avoid. And if you love Japanese mythology, don't forget to check out my upcoming novel, BloodoftheKami, an action-packed tale of wacky yokai, mysterious kami, and mystical warriors. Subscribe for more and see you in the next video.